Hello, my name is Holly Braine and I am head of the Impressionist and Modern Art Day sales in London. I'm going to take you through some of the highlights that we have in our upcoming sale. Leading the sale is this 1921 landscape by Max Pechstein. After the First World War, new territory divisions meant that Pechstein had to seek out new places to paint. So he set off on foot down the Baltic coast with his art materials in a rucksack, and he stumbled across Liba, a small fishing village on the coast. So what he produced was a series of landscapes like this work, which synthesized some of the expressionist themes that he was exploring before the war with this more muted, organic palette and aesthetic. So we have the extraordinary pops of colour in the vein of the early German expressionist works, and you have this extraordinary atmosphere created through the interplay of light and water, evocative of what the Impressionists were doing when they responded to their natural environments. By point of contrast, we can look at this 1904 landscape by Oflenski. So this is quintessential early German expressionism. You have the simplified forms, the bold gestural brushwork, the primary colours, and the black outline that is so typical of von Oflenski's work. As a third example from a German artist, I'd like to show you this Kurt Schwitz. So this was painted in 1941. Schwitz painted this after he had fled Nazi Germany and he was interned at a camp on the Isle of Man. He would later say that his art was a means of staving off hopelessness and despair. And I think you can see some of that creative intensity in these swirling biomorphic forms and the bright yellow right at the centre. When he eventually left the camp later that year, he moved to London and met the beautiful Edith Thomas. Schwitz kept this painting in his collection for his entire lifetime, and today it's being sold by the family of Edith Thomas. The London March sales are traditionally a platform for surrealist art, and this March is no exception. We are delighted to be offering this self-portrait by Leonor Fini. Fini was the embodiment of the anti-muse. She continually subverted and defied the conventions of her day, not least by being a female progressive thinking artist in the predominantly male-led surrealist movement. In fact, the skulls that you see floating around her are the men around her who are too limited in their understanding. But actually what I love most about this picture is the gaze. You can see that she is gazing away from the viewer, her eyes are averted. But if you look at the reflection, she's staring directly at us, something which I take as a metaphor for underestimating women at your peril. One final highlight that I wanted to mention is this bronze sculpture by Rodin. There is a very interesting, if fraught, history to this model. Rodin modelled this work after he had returned from Italy, where he had been completely inspired by the works of Michelangelo. However, when he submitted it to the salon, there was question over whether he had maybe cast the bronze directly from a male body. So the salon set up an inquiry to prove that he had created this just from visual observance and not casting directly from a body. There are only 19 casts known to exist of this model, and we are thrilled to have it in our March sale. As a closing note, I want to make mention of the selection of works on paper and ceramics that we have coming from Marina Picasso, the artist's granddaughter. These are the works that the artist kept with him throughout his lifetime in his studio, and as such offer an extraordinary insight into the intimate workings of this modern master. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to the details of the highlights that we have upcoming. It's a sale we're very excited about. My contact details are online. Please don't hesitate to be in touch. Me and my team will be happy to answer any queries you may have.